Monkfish. Lovely meaty fish, and it's great for things like kebabs, which I'm going to do today. You don't have to worry about it breaking up, and very, very tasty fish, and one that people like who don't like a lot of bones in their fish as well. I'm just going to do a very, very simple kebab. I'll do those in a second. But first of all, I'm going to make a nice little citrusy pomegranate dressing. I have the seeds from a whole pomegranate and 2 nice fresh oranges here. I've already removed the zest from the oranges and just cut them into slices. So into that zest, just going to dump all my pomegranate seeds. With those, with a fork, just going to kind of crush some of them into the seeds, but I'm going to by and large keep them whole. So I get a little bit of tiny piece of juice in there, but by and large the seeds mixed with the orange zest. Into that then, juice of a whole lemon. I like these nice fresh, simple little kind of Mediterranean-y kind of style sauces. Mix that around a little bit there with getting that nice piece of acid mixed through that so that the flavours can fuse together. Then into that, what I'm going to do is herbs. I'm mainly using mint here, just a few herbs from the garden and a few fennel flowers there, so I'll just keep those aside for a little bit of garnish at the end. But I have a little bit of fresh fennel, mint, oregano. Again, just use mint if you can. Just I want this nice minty, fresh, clean flavours in this dish. I'm going to very, very quickly just roughly chop those up. I like making these kind of dressings a little bit in advance just to give the flavours a chance to infuse in together. And mint, again, great little herb. Sometimes it's underutilised, you know, you just kind of use it in a lot of desserts, but it's got a lot of uses. It's a great, great herb. And so just mix those through there. And then finally into that little dressing, I'm going to put about 40-50 ml of a good olive oil. No need for any seasonings, things like that. And just, I'm going to let that little dressing then sit there until I complete all the other cooking. So it'll be sitting there for about 15 minutes, just enough time for it to start infusing through and becoming a little bit more interesting. Some oranges there, and then to make my kebabs, I'm going to be I'll show you how to blanch these vegetables, blanch them with fresh greens. Again, I have some fine beans, some broccoli, whatever you have will do, but this is all about freshness, nice big bulky kind of dish, but you know, packing loads of nutrients, but not going to be a very calorific dish. So it's kind of nice, light, clean kind of food. So the monkfish, what I've done is I won't season the monkfish to the end, because if you put salt in your monkfish or any other fish, it's going to start drawing out the moisture and so on. Your fishmonger will prep this nice chunk of monkfish. So monkfish, piece of courgette, piece of the red onion, another piece of monkfish. I'll just maybe use 3 pieces of monkfish in each kebab, and then just kind of repeat the process. Oops. And then kind of repeat the process until you form up your nice little, nice simple little kebabs. There you have it. 3 to 4 little pieces of monkfish in each kebab, and all ready for cooking. So, other than that, what I'll do is start cooking the things and get on with the cooking itself. So how do you get your vegetables nice and green? Pot of good rolling boil of nicely, just lightly salted water, and then you're going to need a pot of cold icy water in a nice container. Plenty of water. The whole trick here is to do in batches. You don't want to reduce the temperature of the boiling water, so all my broccoli in there together. Doesn't need long. And just wait for that to come back to a nice rolling boil again. About a minute there, thereabouts. Having waited there about 1.5 minutes there, minute, 1.5, thereabouts. Your broccoli starts to get nice and tender, then take it straight out and into the cold water. Now, very important thing, wait for your broccoli to go completely cold. If there's any kind of warm spots before taking it out of the cold water. So there it is, in the cold water, and that's how you set that color. Comes back up, next batch I'm going to put my beans in, follow the process. Lightly salted water, allow the beans to cook for about a minute, minute and a half, and then back off and into the icy water, allowing them to cool completely. And that's how you blanch and refresh your vegetables, makes it much easier and sets the color and a lot of nutrients inside that vegetable. So it's a great little tip, this. That's all you need to know with this. So again, that's my beans up to a nice rolling boil. Give them just a minute more. Now bear in mind, you don't want to cook your veg fully. You only want to cook it to about 70–80%, because if you're reheating and cooking this veg through then that's when you'll complete the cookery. So you want to kind of undercook your veg now and then anticipate that you will be cooking it on, and it's going to cook on as you're finishing the veg. But that'll set that color and just get them nice and cold. So that's your veg blanched and refreshed. So to cook my little monkfish kebabs, what I've done first of all is I've just lightly salted and peppered the kebabs now just before cooking. Preheat a pan, if you have a good non-stick pan, and if you have a good lid on it as well, please. And also about a tablespoon then of coconut oil into the pan. But not a big tablespoon, just a bit. And then just pop your fish in. Season at the very last second though, that is important. And then we're just going to allow them to start cooking away on all sides. Get a little bit of colour onto them. I'm just going to pop the lid on there as well. And then on a kind of a low, kind of a moderate kind of a heat. Kind of your half gas flame. Now, there's my vegetables that I've blanched earlier. Now, the easiest way of getting these vegetables absolutely perfect is actually the microwave. I put them all into the bowl because there's no point in me getting all chefy and complicated things. I want to keep things simple here. So I'm going to just heat those in the microwave and have them ready for the fish. And, you know, convenience, there's nothing wrong with convenience. There's my fish just cooking away. And again, keeping the lid on it just allows a little bit of steaming, and it becomes a lot more forgiving. Monkfish is very, very forgiving fish to cook anyway. Just keep the lid on it. I didn't need to add any water because a little bit of water will tend to come out of the fish anyhow. Nice moderate heat. I'll let that just heat its way through. At the same time, you can just heat up your vegetables in the microwave there. Easiest way of doing it. There's lots of different ways you could do it as well. You could use it on a separate pan, toss it off, but I'm just going to go the easiest route. So there's my monkfish just cooking away nicely. Cooks quite quickly once it gets going, because don't forget these are smaller pieces of monkfish. And you get all these juices in the bottom. That's why I didn't add any extra water or anything in here. And I want to retain those nice juices. Using a bit of a pepper there. And then when the monkfish is just about cooked, I'm going to add my orange just at the very, very end. Also going to put a little tiny piece of my little dressing, if you remember the pomegranate dressing with the herbs. Not much, because I'll be using a little bit of fresh dressing then on top of the dish. Now, bring it up to a little bit of temperature. Put the lid on it. Count to about 15. And then turn it off completely. And then just let it stand there for about 60 seconds. Just relaxing. And then that's my vegetables just out of the mic. I just took the easy route. Just warmed up, all ready to go. And then just allow your monkfish just relax there for a minute there. So having waited for about a minute, there we go. Those little bits of juices are going to now mix with the orange. You can see this delicious, lovely, fresh, citrusy dish now starting to come together. Then what I'm going to do is load it up and eat it. So there's my my vegetables, nicely blanched. All about freshness, cleanness, this one. going to put my kebabs. I like people to be able to take their own food. Got a spare one there, but I'll just leave the two for the moment. Then take your oranges, which are just nicely, lightly warmed. You don't want to be cooking the bejesus out of them. And if you remember those nice juices in the bottom of your pan, they're after capturing and mixing that fishy juices with the with that nice citrus sauce. So you can just put that over there. I do have an extra piece of monkfish there, but I'm just going to plate up to two because I don't want to crowd up my plate too much. But I'm sure people won't have a problem with having extras. And then at the very end, just a little board of dressing just drizzled randomly around the dish. And then, if you have them, you probably won't because you only get these at certain times of the year, but it's just a few fennel flowers, which I'm just going to randomly drop around the place. Because sometimes you just take advantage of what you have and they'll just bring the dish together. A few sprigs of fennel would work fine. If you don't have any fennel at all, don't be worrying about it. Now we have it, our nice little monkfish kebabs with some nice green veg. Lovely, simple, elegant little dish. And a bit of fun too.